What's up, Paragon players? It's your boy Kozmyk GGs, and in today's video I'm going to give you my top tips for warding in the game. The first tip that I have is specifically for support players. When you have the Yellowstone, as you can see in this clip, it's very important for you to go and ward the solo lane jungle and then respawn and then ward the duo lane jungle. When you do this, it's also equally important to do it with your Yellowstone, because if you use your Watcher's Eye that you have in your kit, it will be on cooldown for the beginning of your laning phase and you won't be able to win a ward fight without it. But when you do this and you use your Yellowstone ward, what you do is you refresh your ward every time you go back to your base. So when you go back for the final time, you go back to your lane and you have a full set of wards. Another thing that this does is make sure that the enemy team jungler isn't able to walk into your jungle and steal the blue buff, which is one of the most important camps in your jungle. My next tip is one that I don't think a lot of players, and I mean even pro players, know, is that you can ward over walls, and I'm not even sure how to explain. Like if you look down over a ledge in the game, there's only a few over in like the solo lane and the duo lane. You can place a ward under the layer you are on. I'll have a video in the video to explain what I mean. It's odd, but you can. And this kind of adds a weird dynamic to the game, because you can place a ward somewhere without even actually being remotely close to it. Just to give it a little bit of perspective, you're able to place a ward inside of the Prime Guardian pit without going in it. This next tip is one that used to frustrate the hell out of me when the game first came out of beta, and it is placing a ward in the tier 1 bush. The tier 1 bush is the bush right outside of the enemy inhibitor. What you do when you place a ward right here is make sure that you can see everything, every person that walks through that lane. If they don't walk through that bush and place a ward there and break it, you see everything that goes on in that lane right in front of that inhibitor. A lot of players will max out the Yellowstone immediately, and I like Yellowstone, and I used to do that too, and I realized that level 3 Yellowstone is really cool, but it's kind of overkill, because placing 3 wards in an area is something that the level 2 ward does for you, and you get a gold bonus off of the level 2 stone too. So level 3 is kind of just a little extra, maybe if you get into that 45-minute 60 game area, but the level 2 Yellowstone is a really good median between the two, and I don't really think that it's quite as necessary. In this clip right here, it's really important to pay attention to the spots that I mark on the minimap, and at the same time the spots that I ward in the game, because these 3 spots, particularly if you have them all warded at once, you see the entire enemy jungle except for maybe a few inches or feet, or maybe a yard or two, but there's not much room in the enemy jungle that you can't see. And if you're in that spot, we have already seen you before you got to that spot. So these spots on both sides of the maps in the enemy jungle are really good to get wards in if you can. It's really risky, because if you try to do them back to back, you are going to run into the enemy jungler unless he is in the lane fighting somebody. So do that at your own risk, but it's really good. It's really good to come back against the team with. You can even see here as I'm respawning, my team sees every move that this Severos makes on his way into the fight. So by the time he gets there, if we can't see him, we already know which route he's gonna take. Alright YouTube, that's it for today's video. If you like this video, make sure you hit that like button, that subscribe button, and make sure to leave a comment down below so you can see more videos like this from me in the future, because I know a few secrets about this game, but I'm only willing to give them up to a few. So make sure you hit those buttons, and I'll see you next time. And one last thing before I get out of here, guys, if you're not already, make sure you go to twitch.tv/CosmicGGs and hit that follow button. Support your boy. I'm live most mornings at 6 a.m. If not 6 a.m., 6:30, but I'm there. So go hit me up, check me out, watch some gameplay, and chill with your boy.